Hey everybody and welcome. I'm starting my video with a speed up part because the video is still over 15 minutes long in my editing software, and I try to make it a bit shorter because long videos are not loved by YouTube. I'm starting with some stamping, and I do this with our brand new stamps which are out today. And I'm using some jelly prints, and I use Versafine, not Versafine, Versamark ink. It's an embossing ink, and I'm embossing the images with black powder. Of course, you can also use usual black stamping ink, whatever you prefer. What I'm doing here is I just want to create some pieces that I then can use to make some ephemera elements. And I just wanted to go through this quickly so you don't get bored. I'm mixing up. I'm using different stamps from that set. It's the Pencil Marks number 8, and I'm using different jelly prints. Here I'm back, and I have put all my elements that I've made on that day into this pocket. There is a tutorial on our blog on how I made this. I think there is a tutorial. I will try to link it up. I'm also using some leftover or already used jelly prints and other collage pieces and papers. I try to use up everything I have, not everything, but a lot of the pieces that I have. And I want to make some circles as a base, and then I want to combine this with some other collage fodder and with the focal points I have just embossed. For the circles, I'm using a Posca pen, and I'm also going to use that brush pen from, I can't remember from which brand that was. Maybe it comes to my mind and I can write it in the description, but I have no idea at the moment. But maybe you can recognize it when you see it. These are both black pens that work perfectly over acrylic paint. Of course, you could use some stamps as a circular shape. That's also possible, but this time I just decided to draw some circles on my own. Or you can maybe also use a white Posca pen or some acrylic paint to paint the circles. And I'm picking just different colors here for my jelly prints, and I'm also going to speed that up a bit because that's the brush pen I mean. Oh, I think it's from Pentel. Yeah, I think it's the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen, and it has some permanent black ink in it. It needs a bit to dry on the acrylic surface, but it dries completely. As I said, I'm going to speed that up now, so the video gets a bit shorter. I'm also using some stamps to stamp some more ephemera parts or some collage fodder pieces that I can then use within these collage pieces. And this is also a new stamp set. It's the Mix It Up number 8, number 7. Number 7, we don't have a number 8. It's number 7, and it has a variety of mixed media stamps on it. And I'm just stamping some to the jelly prints so I have them ready to go when I put together the ephemera pieces. This is a nice project to use up collage papers you have laying around, and also to just use your stamps that you have. You can use any kind of background stamps, texture stamps, ticket stamps, whatever you like, and whatever works for your focal images. And I think it's a really fun project just to relax a little bit. I'm now going to cut out all my circles, and then I will come back and we can create the ephemera pieces. I cut everything out, and I think I made some more circles than you saw in the previous part of the video. I just found some more papers that were left over and that I really liked color-wise. There's also a circle without a frame. Not sure if I'm going to use that, but I just put it onto my desk so I can grab it if I want to. And I'm just starting out with one circle, and then I have a look through my pieces, which one fits the colors the most. I really like to go complementary here with the turquoise leaf and the pink background. I'm just checking to see how this will look on a turquoisey background. I always try to bring the color that I have on the focal point also to the background. So I'm picking a turquoisey color here for some kind of fodder piece in the background, so everything stays cohesive. I'm also picking one of these little tickets that I made before with the stamp set, with the mixed media set, and I'm adhering everything with a glue stick. And for the focal images for the leaves, I'm using some wet craft glue because they can easily tear when you use them with a glue stick because they are quite fragile at some points, so it's easier to work with some just usual liquid craft glue. I'm also combining my elements with a word or with some words from my Mix a Sentiment stamp set. I have stamped several of these already, and I'm going to use also a few of them on these ephemera pieces because I really like words and letters as a style element. Here I decided I'm going to stamp that turquoisey paper a little bit with that number stamp that comes with the mixed media set, just to bring in some texture and interest and to pick up the black, which is quite bold on the leaf. So I have also a little bit of black on that piece of paper. I hope you don't mind if I do not talk the whole way through my project today, because sometimes I don't know what to say because you can see what I'm doing. And also my voice is better, much better, but when I talk a lot, then I really recognize that it's getting worse. So I try not to talk too much, especially with this video, which is quite long this time. So I hope you don't mind if I'm not talking all the time. I'm shaking my Posca pen because I have picked a pink one, and I want to make some marks onto the turquoisey paper with it, so it brings in that pinkish orangish color from that circle I've used. I quite like the combination, and I'm deciding here to use a Neocolor in turquoise and make some marks on the circle itself. I really like to bring in that mark making because it just adds to the piece, I feel, and I think it looks quite lovely, or a bit more like something finished when you have some mark making on it. And I want to have these pieces ready to go to be used on projects when I don't have so much creative time. I have already made a video where I did these kind of ephemera pieces, and I have used all of them so far, and the project, some of them are here on the YouTube channel and some of them are just as a photo post over on our shop blog. And I really enjoyed using these pieces because it makes it easier to create something when you don't have much time. Sometimes I only have 10 minutes. I can make a quick art journal background and then I can adhere that this is a focal point, and there is not much what I have to do around, because it has already some mark making and some layers, and that's often that's enough. Here I'm cutting a word from the Mix the Sentiment stamp sets. I have stamped them to different background papers, and here I just picked a few out that are matching the colors I have on my desk, and I'm adhering those to the pieces. As I said, I really like it as kind of a style element. My first one is done, and now I'm moving on to the next circle, and I decided to go with that greenish turquoisey one, and I'm just looking for the perfect leaf to sit on. I'm experimenting a little bit with the butterflies and see if I want to use those. I'm just playing. I think that's really, it's so much, I had so much fun creating these, and I would definitely do some more because I have a lot of leftovers. I think I managed to do about 7 today. I'm not quite sure, 7 or 8. And then I decided to stop the video because it's just, YouTube does not like when a video gets too long, so I try to avoid that. I also thought about making maybe a part 2 of this video, so I'm uploading 2 videos instead of just one on today. So you can watch 2 videos, and YouTube maybe will not avoid sharing the video because it's so long. I will have to see. I grabbed some papers from my little boxes with the smaller pieces, and I'm just experimenting with all the stuff I have. For the butterfly, I decided to pick a piece of thread to then glue it on top of. I really like having some kind of thread going on sometimes because it gives you some more dimension and interest on a stacked collage piece. As these marks that I'm making here with that acrylic paint pen are quite wet, I'm going to lay this aside and let it dry before I glue it together. By the way, we do not only have 2 new stem sets, we also have 3 new stencils, which are released today, and you will find a link to our blog in the video description. And I'm also trying to link up all the products I've been using for these ephemera pieces. And all the new products are 10% off until next Sunday. For this one, I picked a smaller circle and I decided to go with a greenish yellow color combo on top of that pink background. I really love working complementary a little bit. I think that's just, I like when color is popping up. Here I picked a Neocolor again to do some mark making. And as I said, I'm always picking colors that I have already on the piece and just bring it either to the background or to one of the collage pieces. And here I picked that olivey green because the leaf is green, and I bring that color onto that pink circle. I'm also using a yellow Posca paint pen to make some dots into the circle. I really like to make these bold dots onto that dark color, onto the black. Here I'm picking the one from before because the marker is already dry and I'm going to adhere that. I'm also using wet glue. I just wasn't sure how I wanted to place the circle. And I'm also just using that thread that I prepared to glue that under the butterfly. Here I decided to go for that green piece because I feel that looks just perfect with the orange color. And I'm also picking a stamp from the Mix It Up 7 stamp set to bring in some texture to that collage paper. That is not a jelly print. I think that is just a leftover paint paper that I've used as a color palette, and then I've just smeared the leftover paint around. And these papers I really like to keep, and then I can later use for collage projects. Of course, I'm going to use these pieces on future projects, and I will try to make some video tutorials where I use them. And you will also find projects I make with them over on our blog. So maybe you like to subscribe over there to our newsletter, then you will get a weekly email with a blog recap. So you will get an email where every project that was posted on the blog from our design team has a photo in, and then you can decide whether you like to jump over to the blog and look at that project or that tutorial. And if there is something interesting, you just can keep it maybe in a folder in your email account, and you always can come back to that certain project, or you can probably also pin it to Pinterest, which might be a bit easier. With our newsletter, you also always get notified when we have a sale going on, or sometimes we're sending out extra discount codes for subscribers. For my next one, I wanted to use these patterns that I've stamped before, and I'm combining a pink circle with an orangey collage piece. I really love to combine turquoise, orange, and pinks. Here I'm going through which leaf I want to pick, and I also really like that greenish color. And I also add some green to the background with a Neocolor to make everything cohesive in the end. This is also a nice color with that olivey green, the turquoise, the pink, and the orange. I think it's a color palette that I go towards naturally sometimes, especially when I'm playing in my little junk journal, or with more spontaneous things I'm doing when I'm not considering the colors. I often go for these colors, I think. I also intuitively pick them a lot when I do jelly printing. And that's also something because then I have a lot of jelly prints in these colors, and then of course I combine them together. And I think that's just, it's why I love these colors, and I pick them because I like them. And yeah, I decided to add a little bit of a greenish paper here. I think with every piece I've made so far, I've picked two papers that I've collaged on top of the circle. I did this for no reason. I just thought that would be good in this way. And here I just go through the other leaves just in case that there is something I like more than the green one. But I think in the end I will go with a green one. As the markers were still wet, I just put that aside for later. Here I picked a greenish circle, and I think I'm going to use the same colors, just the other way around. So I start with the circle, and then I'm going to use some orange on top. I'm not sure if I'm going for pink here as well. Yeah, I love an olivey green together with an orange color because I think it's not 100% complementary, but it goes towards complementary. When I say complementary, I do not always mean exactly the opposite on the color wheel. I also think complementaries are if they are a little bit shifted from that straight line. Yeah. Here I'm also making some marks with a Posca pen. They are really nice to get some opaque marks on a piece because they are acrylics, and they are also great because they work perfectly over other acrylics. So because my jelly prints are acrylic papers, of course you can do a similar thing with watercolor backgrounds. Just use these. You don't have to use jelly prints or acrylic painted papers. Maybe we should do a watercolor ephemera video the next time. And for the one I did before, I changed my mind and I'm switching out that green leaf with that orange one in the other shape, and I really like that more, also not color-wise, more because of the shape of it. And I'm also combining it with words from the Mix a Sentiment stamp set. And here my yellow dots have also dried, and I'm combining this one with a piece of thread again. I don't know, I always like thread together with butterflies. Maybe because it looks a bit more organic and then it's a bit more natural with the animal on it. I don't know. And this is the last one I'm making today. Of course, I will give you a flip through all the ones I've made today, and you will find all the links in the video description. I hope you enjoyed that video and I wish you a lovely rest of the week. Bye!